Hey, what is up, Launch Coalition and non-Launch Coalition members who are watching this on the YouTube live stream? So excited because I'm going to show you a super simple way to grow your email list. You're going to see that we're going to do it in a way that doesn't require a website, doesn't require an opt-in page, doesn't require anything that's complicated. I've actually never felt less prepared for a live demonstration than I do right now. I have nothing prepared. We are doing this entirely from scratch. No technology is set up. You're really going to see this in the making. So if you are a member of the Launch Coalition and you're watching along live, welcome. Sorry for the few minutes late start, but I'm super pumped that you're here. I will also be monitoring Launch Coalition comments as we go, or questions. So if you do have questions, comment them in the Launch Coalition or on the YouTube live link. I'll keep my eye on both of those, but otherwise, this month, September 2020, is all about growing your email list. And you're going to see, I'm going to create an ad campaign from scratch right here, right now, without any of those things I talked about, without a website, without an opt-in page, without any of that fun stuff. I'm going to show you how I do it right here, right now. So without further ado, we're just going to jump straight into the ad account or ad campaign creation. I'm entirely unprepared for this, and you're going to see that because I want to be in the same boat as you. I don't want to have anything pre-prepared aside from a lead magnet. So we're going to switch over to my screen share. And hopefully you can see my screen right now. You should be able to see it. All right, cool. So this is Facebook Ads Manager, but actually the first thing I want to show you is the PDF that I've created. So I created this PDF called The 7 Deadly Sins of Entrepreneurship. And the 7 Deadly Sins of Entrepreneurship, I literally just created this in Microsoft Word. So you could see it's, how many pages is it? It's probably 8 pages or 9 pages. So it's just sin number 5, expecting magic. Here's a quick few paragraphs, and that's it. So very simple lead magnet. You can see when it comes to formatting, I'm actually not all that great when it comes to formatting. So I actually just kept it simple. This is a blue rectangle up top with white text, the Wantrepreneur to Entrepreneur logo. I used 2 blue lines where I could to make it look kind of cool. And I think it looks pretty decent though. But if you actually break it down, it's not all that complex of a setup in Microsoft Word. So that's it. That's the freebie that I'm giving away. But here's the thing, I do want to give you one big disclaimer. If you don't have a lead magnet, then I'm so glad that you are here on this live stream because I'm going to show you how to have a lead magnet or something free to give away, a PDF or an ebook or a checklist or an action guide. I'm going to show you how to have one of those even if you've never created one. So here, we're going to jump back into my screen. Let me show you. So my fiance, Kat, she owns a tax firm, and so she's self-employed. She's an entrepreneur as well. And she does not have a lead magnet. She also doesn't like writing, by the way. And so what we did for her was I used this website called id.me. No, it's plr.me. Let me see. I can't see my screen. Let's delete the I. So, wow, I'm jumping all over the place right now. Let's go to plr.me, and let's hope you can see my screen again. All right, good. You can see my screen. So this is plr.me. If you don't have a lead magnet, this is really cool. So for example, if I just type in tax, let's say Kat wanted to have a good lead magnet, I could just type in tax, which is exactly what I did. And you can see here that there are all these different lead magnets. So a quick guide to tax considerations, 8 tax saving tips for small businesses. So if I went to this item, this is probably pretty cool. This is actually, there you go. It's just a really simple PDF of 8 tax saving tips for small businesses. But actually what Kat and I did was we took this one, which was from plr.me, Little Known Tax Secrets for the Self-Employed. And we just branded it. We literally made this in Canva, which you'll see me using Canva here tonight. So, and then this, Kat didn't write a word of this. This is all from plr.me. It's just a free lead magnet that you can get from plr.me. Actually, it's not free. I think it costs like $2 or $3, but pretty sweet, right? So with that said, this is my lead magnet that I actually created myself. So we're going to be creating the ad campaign for this lead magnet. So let me just check in with you guys, see if you have any questions. Let's jump into the Launch Coalition and see if there are any questions before we get started. All right, let's pop into here. Cool, Nelia is joining us live. Awesome. Sweet, no questions just yet, so we're gonna keep on cruising through here. So let's jump into the window that you can see, and let's pop right on over to Facebook Ads Manager. So I'm going to start things off by clicking Create New Campaign, and we are going to do lead generation. So let's go into lead generation, and I'm going to call this 7 entrepreneurship mistakes. I'm not going to use sins just because I don't want Facebook to automatically see like a negative word, and I don't want it to flag this ad campaign. So I'm just going to call it 7 entrepreneurship mistakes, and I'm going to hit continue. Now, like I said, I'm completely unprepared for this, so we are starting from scratch together. And there's nothing else you need to do on this screen, so then we're going to go into new ad set, and you're going to see, so I'm going to teach you in this video an ads approach that Frank Kern actually teaches all the time in his programs, and he calls it the miser strategy. So what he does is he just chooses something he wants to target. So let's say we want to target, I don't know, let's just say Russell Brunson. He's an entrepreneur that a lot of people know, a lot of people follow him on Facebook, so let's target him. So let's view the terms of Facebook's lead ads. It says you have to do this before you get to use this type of ads, and yeah, I agree to the terms. Cool, now I can run these lead ads. I'm gonna run it from my Facebook page. So let's go down here, and we're gonna create a $4 a day budget. You're gonna see why I'm doing that in a little bit, and we're gonna target, let's do Russell Brunson, whoops. Let's go into detailed targeting, and let's target people who like Russell Brunson on Facebook. So that's 500,000 people right here. And for age, just for my stuff, I typically do, let's call it 24 to 50. And that way I get people who have purchase intent, people who are probably actively working on growing their businesses. Let's roll with that. And let's open it up to some other countries. Let's include Canada in here. Shout out to all the Canadians inside the Launch Coalition, like Nelia and James. Let's open it up to Australia. Let's open it up to the United Kingdom. Now, since all my stuff is in English, I'm only sticking to predominantly English-speaking countries. And then I'm going to scroll right on down and just make sure that I'm telling Facebook, yeah, just make sure you're only showing this to people who speak English. Otherwise, they're not going to understand my ads very much. So this is the ad set for Russell Brunson, $4 a day. I've done my targeting, and I've set my ages, and I'm just going to leave everything else as the default. The only thing I'm going to change here is dynamic creative. That's the one thing I was looking for. So I'm going to turn this to on, and I'm going to hit continue, and you're going to see why in just a second. So this new ad, I'm going to call 7 mistakes lead gen form PDF. All right, so here's what we're gonna have to do. I'm gonna first choose my Instagram account because I'll also be running Instagram ads. It's a really good perk since Facebook also owns Instagram, and we are going to start creating the ad. Now, there are a few parts of an ad. So the first part of an ad is the actual image that people see. Now, when I say that I'm very unprepared for this, it's because I don't even have the images prepared, because I want it to be in the same boat as you. I want to have to create the images right here, right now in front of you. The second part of the ad is the text, the ad copy. So I'm going to do that in a little bit, but first we're really going to dive in and create the ad creatives together. You're going to see. I'm going to keep it very simple. I'm going to use a free tool that everybody has access to called Canva. So let's jump back into my computer and let's go over to Canva. And I'm going to say, let's create a Facebook ad. So it already knows the dimensions. I'm just going to do it from a blank screen. And all right, this is where we start getting creative. Or if you're like me, you don't view yourself as very creative, so you're going to see how simple I keep it so it doesn't lean on creativity. Let me move some of the live stream stuff that I've got on my screen. All right, so let's go to photos. For the first one, let's just do entrepreneur. And let's see what they've got. I want something that's going to stand out in someone's news feed. So let's do something like, there's no magic to this. What you'll see is actually, because I activated dynamic creatives, I'm just going to be able to upload a few different pictures. Let's upload this one. I like the lights, I like the colors, probably catch some attention when people see it on their newsfeed. So let's make it the correct size. And I really like those lights at the top, so I'm going to make sure I get that. All right, and that's one of our images. Let's download that. So that is downloaded. So that'll be one of our images. I'm going to use 3 just for the sake of testing. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I already have some uploads in here, so let's go to my uploads, and I have a picture of me, so I'm going to test if people, hopefully the market somewhat knows who I am. Let's test this picture of me. Let's make it the correct dimensions. All right, so it fills the whole ad, and then let's just add a heading, and we'll just call it free download. And let's do another heading and call it the 7 mistakes of entrepreneurship. And of course, we're going to make that a bit bigger. Now, Facebook ads does not like text, so don't go overboard on your size. I might actually make it a little bit smaller because they're definitely not going to like that much text. That looks about right. So I'm just going to make this centered, and I'm going to make this a little grayed out. So I'm going to do gray instead of black. And just to add a dash of color, I'm going to go into Elements, and let's throw an underline under free download. And I'm going to make it Wantrepreneur to Entrepreneur Blue. All right. Looks like a decent ad. I don't hate it. You can see I wasn't all that creative. It's a picture of me on a white brick background and just some text boxes. So the only thing I don't like is where it is. I guess it looks okay. So I'm going to download that. And then the last thing I'm going to test is let's get a picture of the actual PDF. So let's take a picture of this. So what I'm going to do is on my Mac, I'm going to do Command Control Shift 4, which is the screenshot shortcut on a Mac. And let's get a screenshot of the cover page. And let's come into here. Let's delete that background of me. Let's paste this in here. Hopefully I can put a drop shadow in here. Let's see. Again, I'm not a designer, so you're really seeing me do this on the go. Let's see if we can add a drop shadow. And I might just quickly drop shadow Canva. Let's Google it real quick. How do you do a drop shadow? All right, that doesn't sound like a drop shadow. All right, let's see what this says. In one click, that's what I want. Interesting. Too complicated. I'm not gonna do it. You'll see I'm a big fan of keeping things simple. So then I'm just gonna throw, let's crop that a little bit. It looks like I got a little bit of the border on it. Just a tiny bit. Cool. Done. All right, so actually what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw a background on here. So let's go to, let's do photos, let's do office. And let's throw this all the way in the background. So I'm gonna make it the full screen, position it all the way in the back. And then what I like to do is add a rectangle. Or yeah, this will come out to be a rectangle, the same exact size of the Facebook ad. And I'm going to throw it all the way to the back and then forward. Okay, so that's all the way in the back. And then I'm going to make it a bit transparent. I'm going to make it white. And I'm going to drop the transparency of it, so you can see the office behind. All right, so that is a very simple. I might actually get rid of that. I'm not sure I like that there. Let's just roll with this text. So let's move it right in the middle. And we'll put this here, and we'll bring the underline. All right, and that'll be the third image that we use in this ad campaign. So I'm going to download that as well. So now you see here, I will come into Ads Manager, and I will select images for the actual ad, and I'm going to say upload. And let's choose the most recent 3 on my desktop because that's where I save them all. And these 3 images are going to upload. So you can see so far we've kept it very simple is the goal. I've not done anything fancy yet. I actually stumbled my way through Canva to create these ad creatives, but they're not bad, and you're going to see the actual ad previews in just a second when I show it to you. So they just uploaded into my Facebook Ads Manager, so we almost successfully created an ad. There are a few steps left though, so we're going to keep on rolling here. So these are the 3 images, and I'm going to select them all. And it looks like this one's selected. I don't like that one. I don't know where I got that from. All right, so we've got 3 different images. I'm going to hit continue. And now we can see these previews right here, which look pretty cool. Now we just have to actually create the creatives or the ad copy so it doesn't say fb.me underneath it. So let's start doing that. I'm going to start with the headline, and it's going to be free ebook. Or let's say free PDF. Or let's say, yeah, let's try free PDF. The 7 mistakes most entrepreneurs make. That, we'll just do that. Keep it very simple. So that's the first headline. And again, because I have dynamic creative selected, what I can do is I can choose, just like with images, I chose 3 different images. I can also create different headlines. I can create different ad texts. And what Facebook does is on a per user basis, it's going to adjust saying, hey, we know that Brian, he always clicks pictures that have a lot of text in them. We're going to show him that version of the ad. Whereas Joe always clicks images with a female in the ad image. So Facebook's algorithms are smart enough to determine what is it in this image. Let's show it to people who it best resonates with. And that's why I'm going to create some different ad copies. That's why I've got 3 different images in there. We're just going to let Facebook use its algorithm. It's way smarter than I am. It's way smarter than you are. Trust me, it's way smarter than we are. And it's going to go out and get us the best results ideally. So that's one headline that I just created right there. Let's just add one other just to test. And let's see, I'm really thinking about this on the fly. Let's do PDF, download, find out the 7 mistakes that most entrepreneurs make that hold them back. All right, there are my 2 headlines. So now it's time to write the actual ad text, and I'm going to do this. Let's say the first one, we'll use some basic emojis. Let's face it, entrepreneurship isn't always easy, and that's why so many of us fall into the common traps and make the same mistakes. I'm actually not going to say that because that might get flagged by Facebook. So let's just say fall into some common traps. We've all been there before. So click to download the free PDF that we've put together, highlighting 7 mistakes that hold most entrepreneurs back. All right, let's do one that's a little catchier for this next one. And I'm going to use some emojis. So let's look at my frequently used emojis. I'm going to use this big red X because that'll stand out in a newsfeed. So not focusing on sales. And whoops. Let's insert another emoji. All right. So not focusing on sales, expecting magic right away. These are just some of the mistakes that hold entrepreneurs back. Download our newest free guide to see all 7 of them. We'll just keep it simple with those 2. So we've got 2 different ad texts, we've got 2 different headlines, 3 different images. You can see some of the previews of the ads right here. And that's it as far as, let's do download as the call to action. All right, so I just created the ad. Now what we want to do is we want to tell Facebook to capture the person's name and email address. So if they want this, I want their name and email address, and I want it to go into my email marketing software. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a lead form. So this means I don't need to create an opt-in page. I don't need to send them to my website. I can do this right here on Facebook. So form name is going to be 7 mistakes of entrepreneurs. This is just for me. That doesn't get displayed anywhere. And I want more volume. So it's a form that's quick and easy to fill out and submit even on mobile devices. So here's the intro. The intro will be, so background image that will show behind your form. I don't think I want that. Not sure if that's required. Let's see. Okay, so it wants me to upload it. I'm just gonna skip that for now. All right, headline. Download the free guide on the 7 entrepreneurial mistakes. Tell us where to email your free PDF guide and we'll send it straight to your inbox. All right, so that's very simple. Whatever image that they clicked, that's what will show up here. So that's the intro. This is what it'll look like when I ask them for their information. And let's keep scrolling down. So the questions, yeah, all I care about is email and name, so that's cool. Privacy, you do need to have a privacy policy. So if you've got a WordPress site, you can use a WordPress plugin to generate a privacy policy. There are so many, just Google WordPress privacy policy. I actually have a privacy policy, so I'm going to just do HTTPS, and that's the link to my privacy policy. And this is just going to say privacy policy. All right, and then completion, it's going to say, awesome, we're emailing the guide to you now. We're so excited to help you avoid these 7 mistakes. So check your inbox for an email with the download link. All right. And I can also have a call to action button, which I can say, visit Brian's website. And I can link to my website if I want to. Again, you don't have to do this, but I'll put it in here just in case. If I do get traffic, cool. If not, it's not really the goal of this ad, to be honest. All right, so I'm gonna hit publish on this. Let's just check the settings, see if there's anything important here. Nope, that's totally cool. All right, let's hit publish. All right, image is required if the user upload image is selected. So I guess it does want to force me to upload an image. Let's choose one of these. And let's see what it looks like in here. Cool, that looks pretty good. I actually like that. So let's actually, since that is the lead form, let's put it with my picture so that way it's branded and they get a little bit of extra familiarity with me. All right, cool. I like that. You must let people know how you'll use their data. Ah, right here. Let us know where to mail the PDF, and we'll also send you only the best and most actionable information to help you launch and grow. Cool. All right, let's publish it now. That should be good. So that's the lead form. That's where they're going to enter their name and email address. So that's it. Now, there are a few things that I'm going to show you from here. So we created the campaign, we created the ad set. I told Facebook I want to target Russell Brunson. I created the actual ad with 3 different pictures, 2 different headlines, 2 different ad texts, and I also created the form where people will be able to enter their name and email address. Now, there are a few pieces left to deal with here. So the first piece is I want that information that they gave me to actually go somewhere. I want it to end up on my email list. So we're going to do that in a second using a tool called Zapier. So Zapier is a really cool tool. It's like the king of integrations, and you're going to run into this time and time again with your businesses. If you ever need 2 different pieces of software to talk to each other, Zapier is what does that. So Zapier is that integration platform. So we're going to use Zapier to say, hey, when someone fills out that form, let's send their information to Brian's email list. So we're going to do that in just a second, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to show you how to complete setting up your Facebook ad campaign so you're not just targeting one person. I don't just want to target Russell Brunson. I want to test a lot of different targeting options, and that's where I told you Frank Kern is a huge proponent of what he calls the Miser method. You're going to see I'm going to list a ton of different interest groups really easily and really quickly, and it's going to help us get in front of a lot of different people and really optimize our campaigns. So first things first, I'm gonna jump into Zapier and tell it to send people's lead information into my email list. So let's go do that. And before we jump in there, I am gonna pop into the coalition and see what sort of questions we've got up here. All right, so we've got some comments in here. Let's take a look at what coalition people are asking. Awesome. Abby said, I'm always game for creative hacks. Yes, Abby, good. Pierce asked lead magnets for a podcaster. How to get top 100 on Apple Business Podcasts. Pierce, no, is my answer. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. So we're going to go back to Pierce's question. Nelia says, Brian, I don't think I can choose more than one image when using Constant Contact, and I don't think it has the creative choice that you mentioned. Nelia, do you mind clarifying what you mean? Constant Contact has no bearing on how many images you should be using. Constant Contact is your email platform, which is where Facebook's going to send the lead information, but it's actually on Facebook Ads Manager, which is where you want to be uploading the images that you're creating. So Nelia, just type in the chat box because I am monitoring the Launch Coalition chat. Let me know what you mean when you're asking about Constant Contact and choosing one image. Because I'm going to jump back into my screen right now. Within Facebook, within your ad set settings, I chose Dynamic Creative here. And Dynamic Creative, when I turn that on, that's what enables me to upload different images to test with different people. And it's pretty cool. Facebook describes it right here. Provide creative elements such as images and headlines and will automatically generate combinations optimized for your audience. How cool is that? It's using machine learning, it's using algorithms to get you the best results. So that's it. I've created my ad. Nelia, clarify there, and I'll jump back in a second. So let's come on over here to Zapier. So I am logged into my Zapier, and I'm going to say connect this app. Let's connect Facebook lead ads with my ActiveCampaign is my email software. So Nelia, for you, for example, this would be Constant Contact. And I'm going to say when this happens, when I get a new lead in Facebook, then let's do create, update, contact. And it says this is likely what you want. Zapier is really smart. I want to create and update a contact in ActiveCampaign when a new lead comes in via Facebook lead ads. So I'm going to use this Zap, and we're going to customize it a little bit just because when it comes to my email marketing, there are a few things that I'm very picky about. So we're going to go into the advanced mode, and you're going to see exactly how I set it up. So I'm going to specify, all right, when there's a new lead in Facebook ads, and the page is Brian Lofermento. So when someone enters their lead information with this page, and on this form, which you'll see, the form I just created, boom, there it is, popping up right there, 7 mistakes of entrepreneurs. So when someone enters their information in that lead form, then here's what I want to do. Let's test this trigger and see if it works. I wonder if there's any data in there. It is. Sweet. So there's a Facebook test account there. So they say, hey, we found this lead. That's awesome. Let's continue. And now I'm going to say, all right, here's what I want you to do within my active campaign. I want you to create and update a contact. And for that contact, I want it to go into my active campaign, which I've already integrated my active campaign with Zapier. I want them to go onto the list called BL Follow-Up. So this will put them on my follow-up list. Their email address, this is from Facebook. You can see the Facebook icon. Their full name is right here, full name. So I'm going to tell it that's where the full name is. I want them, this is important, I want them to add a tag. And the tag that I use is, let's check my email list. The tag that I use is 7 sins opted in for PDF. So 7 sins, maybe I have to search. Let's do 7. It should be, let's just type it in manually. 7 sins opted in for PDF. All right, so it'll add that tag. And that tag in my email marketing, 7 sins opted in for PDF, will kick off this sequence, which you can see. This is the sequence where I send them an email. I'll actually show you what the email looks like. Oh, shoot, it won't let me actually. I will show you that in a little bit, but basically it's going to tag them so that my email marketing software knows, okay, they entered their information, they're trying to download this free PDF for the 7 sins, let's put them there. So I'm going to do continue, and we're going to look here. I just want to make sure it got the tag, and yeah, it did get the tag, so that's good. And I'm going to skip this test. You probably would want to test it, but I'm just going to say done editing. All right, so just to recap, there's a lot that went on there. I'm just going to turn on my Zap, and it actually tells you if you want to use the Facebook lead form Zap, you need to have a premium account, which is super cheap. Actually, it's just $20 a month, so to use Zapier in this fashion. So if you want to do monthly, it's $25 a month if you want to pay every single month. So I'm going to upgrade my account. I'm not going to enter my credit card information here for you guys. I know that'd be a ton of fun. But just to recap what we're using Zapier for. So we've created the ad in Facebook Ads Manager. Facebook is already creating the form that they can enter their name and email address for. So I didn't have to create an opt-in form. I didn't have to create an opt-in page. I didn't have to use ClickFunnels. I didn't have to use WordPress. I didn't have to use any of that stuff. Like, this is the coolest thing ever. It is the simplest way to start generating leads when it comes to Facebook ads. And now I have Zapier, an integration tool, saying, oh, hey, someone entered their name and email address in your Facebook ad. Perfect. We know what to do with that. We're going to send them right on through to your email marketing software, which in my case is ActiveCampaign. For you, it might be MailChimp, it might be Constant Contact. Zapier handles that for us. So really the hard part is done. And I'm going to show you within ActiveCampaign, I have an automation. Every email provider is a little bit different here, but I have an automation that says, oh, hey, someone was added to this tag, 7 sins, opted in for PDF. We know what to do with them. Let's tell Brian that there's a new lead. I just like to have an eye on when my new leads are coming in. Let's update one of their contact fields so that if I ever need to go back into their contact record, I know how the heck they got there. And let's send them this email, which the email, I wish I could show it to you. Basically, the email just says, hey, Brian, I saw that you signed up to download the free 7 sins guide. Here's the link to download it. Super simple. So that's how everything works together. It sounds like there's a lot of missing pieces, but actually Facebook and Zapier are doing almost all the difficult work for us. So I created the ad, I created the integration with my email marketing software, I created everything we need to create. Now, what we need to do is I don't just want to target Russell Brunson. So what I actually want to do is I want to target a bunch of different people. In fact, I keep this running sheet of different targeting groups that I target with my Facebook ads. And actually my more detailed sheet has my cost per clicks for each of these interest targeting groups. It has my cost per conversion for each of them, the conversion rates, just so I know which audiences work for me. But I'm going to use just, let's say, the first 5 of them right now. So Amy Porterfield, Frank Kern, Lewis Howes, and Ryan Deiss. So you should come up with this list. 100%. Like, one of the most valuable things when it comes to your marketing is keep a targeting list. Come up with ideas for which audiences to target with your ads. And now you're going to see just how simple it is to duplicate what we did with Russell Brunson and target other people instead. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to come into Ads Manager. I'm going to go to Ad Sets. Super important that you go to Ad Sets. I'm going to duplicate this Russell Brunson ad set, and I'm going to copy it 4 times. So let's copy it 4 times. Now you'll see I've got a bunch of copies here. So let's take this first copy and call it Amy Porterfield. Oops. All right. It's called Amy Porterfield. And the budget is $4 a day. And just right here, I'm going to take out Russell Brunson. I'm going to target Amy Porterfield. And that's it. And you can see that underneath this Amy Porterfield ad set is this ad, which is, because I duplicated it from my Russell Brunson ad set, the exact same ad. So I don't have to recreate that ad again. So let's go into this next copy, and I'm going to call it Frank Kern. And then I'm going to scroll right on down here, remove Russell Brunson, and add Frank Kern. Now I'm going to go to this next copy, and I'm going to call it, or I'll just do it here. So I'm going to switch the targeting to Ryan Deiss. And then I'm going to go up here and rename it Ryan Deiss. And let's see, who's the 5th one? Lewis Howes. All right, so let's come into here again and take this copy and rename it Lewis Howes. And let's change the targeting to Lewis Howes. And I'm going to show you guys why I do it this way. So now we have 5 different ad sets, all with the same ad creative underneath it. And so if I close this, what's going to happen is when I publish this ad to Facebook, I'm going to have all these different ones. And I'm not going to bore you. I'm actually going to do this 25 times, which is why I set the budget for each to $4 a day, because I want to spend $100 a day in generating leads. And so if I've got 25 different ad sets, each at $4 a day, then that's $100 a day. And once this ad is running, and I'll show you guys in a week from now what this ad looks like when it's running, what it's going to show me here is how all of these different, here's how Ryan Deiss is performing, here's how Amy Porterfield is performing, here's how Frank Kern is performing. And what I'm going to do is the ones that aren't performing, they're not converting, they're expensive leads, I don't like that, I'm just going to turn them off. And the ones that are performing, I'm going to adjust their budgets and increase it. So that's why I like setting up an ad this way. So at this point, I'm going to go through when I'm not live streaming with you guys. I'm going to duplicate it 25 more times, or 20 more times, so that I have 25 in total. And then I'm going to hit review and publish. And that's it. I've created everything from scratch. I created the ad campaign. I created the ad sets. I created, oops, let's switch here. I created the actual ad itself. I created the ad images in Canva. I set up the integration from Zapier to go to my email marketing software. Gosh, we've been here for like 40 minutes. So we just did all of that work in 40 minutes. It's amazing. This is why I love using Facebook ads. And when I click publish, literally within an hour, I will start generating leads. To me, that's just the coolest thing in the world. So that's the process from start to finish. I'm going to leave the screen share up, and I'm going to jump into the Launch Coalition and see what sort of questions there are. So, all right, I created the ad through Constant Contact, and then it integrated automatically. Nelia, I'm glad you clarified that. I wouldn't do it that way. No way would I do it that way, because Constant Contact, and trust me, as someone who loves external Facebook ad tools, I'm a huge fan. Like, I use Ad Espresso all the time, but actually of late, I started transitioning more to just working within Facebook Ads Manager because Facebook Ads Manager has all the latest and greatest features that Facebook is rolling out, whereas these external third-party ad tools, they take a while to start adding those tools into their platforms, if ever. Like Adespresso, for example, still can't do dynamic creative, which is why you see I'm using it here in Ads Manager, whereas all my students who know me well, who have worked really closely with me, know that I love Adespresso, but it just doesn't have all the latest features. So Nelia, 100% do it within Facebook Ads Manager. You will have the power of the Facebook ads algorithm and optimization working for you. And trust me, you want that behind your back because your ads will do even better. So Pierce, let's address your question. Lead magnets for a podcaster. Pierce, are you trying to serve podcasters? Like, is that who you want on your email list? Do you want a bunch of podcasters on your email list? Because if the one that you suggested, how to get to top number 100 on Apple Podcasts, I don't know if you were asking that as if like that's your goal, or if you're proposing that as a potential lead magnet. If it's the latter, you don't want that as a potential lead magnet. And if it's the former, then yeah, the way that you get to the top 100 is obviously to have a bigger audience, to have more listens, to have more subscribers, to have more downloads, to have more ratings and reviews. That's the way to the top 100. There's no secret behind doing that. So think about who you want in your audience, think about who you want on your email list, and come up with a lead magnet that caters to them and that serves them. So you obviously don't want podcasters on your email list. You probably want young entrepreneurs in your case, just because I know about your business and your podcast. You want those people on your email list. So your age targeting will be different. Your interest targeting actually might be a little bit similar to mine. You might have a little younger of an audience. They might be more into like the Tai Lopez's, the Grant Cardones, the Gary V's. You might be targeting people like that. But yeah, come up with a lead magnet. For every single person who's watching this, the goal of your lead magnet is to attract the people, to be magnetic to the people who you want in your audience and on your email list. So I'm going to refresh this one more time and see what sort of questions we've got here. I didn't mean to do it that way. LOL, made an error. Haha. All right, cool. Nelia. Yeah, trust me, like we've all tried a million different ways to create Facebook ads, and that's why I'm live streaming here. That's why we've got this challenge. That's why September is the month where we're growing our email lists. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, Nelia, you've like quadrupled your email list size over the past 2 weeks, which is really cool to see. So inject some of this firepower into your ads, and yeah, you should grow even further from there. I'm really excited to launch this campaign that I just created in front of your very eyes. And I'll come back here in a week or two to show you the results. You're going to see, hopefully, hundreds of leads that I've generated from this. But just to recap, let's come back to my screen share. So just to recap, what we did was we created the campaign within Facebook ads. It has, in my case, it's going to have 25 different ad sets, but we started with just one ad set. We did everything we needed to do within that one ad set. We created the ad. We used Zapier to link that ad up into my email autoresponder, which is where, because of the tag, my autoresponder knows which email to send to them. It triggers an email to be sent to them. I created the ad creatives, the images within Canva. Super simple. I'm not creative. I'm not a designer. I used those. And then all I did was I duplicated that ad set a bunch of different times, changed the targeting on the ad set level, and then let it fly, and then hit review and publish. People will opt in right on Facebook. They will get that lead form. Let's see if I can preview it here for you. So when they click your ad, they won't be taken to your website. They will directly see this lead form that we created in here. So the lead form, just to remind you of what it looks like. I'm not sure I can preview it for you right now, but you saw when I created the lead form, that's what they'll see. They'll enter their name and email address. And this is why, Nelia, like going back to you, and I don't mean to pick on you tonight, but going back to you when your coach said, oh no, don't run ads, optimize your website first. They're two different things. You can start generating leads without even having a website. Like shout out It's one of my best friends in the world, Nat Harward. He's an incredible entrepreneur. That dude built a 6-figure agency without even having a website. Like, Nat has a website now, but he never uses his website. He just has the website there as like a formal entity. Nobody actually visits it, and it's not part of his sales process. So yeah, you can go very far without even having a website, let alone having an optimized website. You can see we used Facebook's lead form right here to keep it very simple. So I'm going to do one more refresh. Make sure I answered all the questions that are inside the Launch Coalition. If you're not a Launch Coalition member and you're catching this live stream on Facebook or on YouTube, I mean, what the heck are you doing? You should be inside the Launch Coalition. So check out launchcoalition.com. You'll be able to engage with me, which is what Launch Coalition members are doing as I'm live streaming. We've got a challenge every single month. Nelia, to answer your question, is there a free version that you recommend that is similar to Zapier? Actually, Nelia, I'm not going to lie to you. What you could do is you could not use Zapier entirely. You could just have Facebook give you those leads, and they could just be emailed to you, or you could just log in and see those leads. You could do it yourself. You don't need a tool whatsoever. I just use Zapier because, like, for example, on Wednesday, I'm flying down to Washington, D.C. On Sunday after that, I can't even keep track of my travel schedule. On the Sunday after that, I'm flying to Florida. 2 weeks after that, I'm flying to Ukraine. So I'm just all over the place. So I love systems. I love tools. I love automation. But Nelia, you don't need any tool. Like, Facebook will capture those leads for you. You can manually enter them yourself. So if you're looking to save some costs up front, really good solution there. Just do it yourself. Keep it low tech, keep it simple, which is what you'll see we did here. We try to keep it as simple as possible because the more complicated you make it, the less likely you are to launch it. It's one of the big things, one of the big mantras that I'm a fan of here in 2020. So that is it from me. I'm so glad that you guys were able to spontaneously join me here on the Launch Coalition September Challenge live stream. Nelia says, yes, join the Launch Coalition. It's awesome. Nelia, I can't even remember if I made this stream public or not. So it might just be Launch Coalition people who are seeing it. But if not, if you're watching this on YouTube, seriously, what are you doing? You're making your life way harder by not having a community of entrepreneurs who help you, who work together. Like, we just collaborated and created an ad campaign together. We're all committed to growing our email lists even further here in September 2020 inside this month's Launch Coalition Challenge. So go straight to launchcoalition.com. Don't wait anymore. Nelia just said it. Yes, join the Launch Coalition. It's awesome. Seriously, it is, because Nelia, you and all the other members make it awesome. So that's it from me tonight. Thanks for joining me on this live stream. Signing off. If you have any questions, don't be shy. Of course, post them in the Launch Coalition, and I will see you guys there.